Welcome back to Straight Talk. An iconic piece of Portland has returned to downtown. We are, of course, talking about the Thompson Elk statue, which was removed from its pedestal following protests in 2020. Well, now it's back, restored and standing tall in downtown Portland. John Adams has more.
Under picture-perfect blue skies Thursday morning, the Thompson Elk statue made its return to downtown Portland. Residents came out in droves to say hello to an old friend.
And I'm really emotional because it's definitely been a part of this city's history. And I'm really excited to see it.
It's the beginning of downtown coming back. It's a very, very important day.
The 9-foot-tall statue was built in 1900 and was a fixture in the city for 120 years before it was damaged during protests in 2020.
There was some scratches. There was a lot of soot embedded in the coating on it. There was graffiti all over it.
Conservator Robert Kruger was tasked with restoring the statue. He was able to remove the paint and imperfections before adding a new coat, one that allows graffiti to be removed without damaging the elk.
It turned out really well. You know, I'm happy to see him looking like he always did.
Nearly 10 different city bureaus banded together on the $1.8 million project, which engineers call faithful yet progressive.
There has been a lot of change in the city. Even the elk fountain itself has seen some change. Some new stones, some new features, but at the same time, it's still familiar.
Some we spoke with see the elk's return as a possible metaphor for the city as a whole.
I think it's symbolic of Portland being a bruised city, and now it's trying to stiffen back up and become alive again. So it's beautiful to see.
And our thanks to John Adams for that report. There were a lot of different players behind the restoration of the elk, including the Portland Parks Foundation. In a statement, Executive Director Jessica Green said in part, quote, "The restoration of the Thompson Elk Fountain is a testament to the power of partnership and what we can do when we all work together. This is a beautiful moment for Portland, and we look forward to celebrating the elk's return with everyone this Sunday." Yeah, it's going to be a big celebration. That partnership also included a lot of city leaders. That includes Councilor Dan Ryan, who is here with us today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tim.
You're one of the biggest boosters and supporters of this to make it happen, so we're really glad you're here. You were there for the installation this week, the reinstallation of the Thompson Elk in downtown Portland. So how did it feel to see that happen, and why was it so important to get that elk back?
Well, I'll start with why it was so important to get it back. Thanks for having me on to celebrate the elk. It was at a time when I was serving on the old city council. There was 5 of us, and there were a group of concerned citizens that were making their rounds, talking about the monuments in general, but they specifically honed in on the elk. And I got to thank Bill and Kit Hotkins of this group called the Concerned Citizens, a group of elders that just made the case for how important it was for them to see the elk fully restored. That was a key word, fully restored. And so at that time, there were talks amongst all the bureaus about doing it in their own way, if you will. And so it was important to do a resolution that herded all the cats, got all the bureaus that are such a big part of this, especially the Water Bureau, PBOT, and Parks, to get on the same page. So I'm grateful that the rest of my colleagues at that time unanimously passed this, and I was proud to be the champion to get it across the finish line.
It really was a big process, wasn't it, to be able to collaborate like that and to make this happen for an elk that had been pretty badly damaged.
Exactly. That's why the full restoration was key, and it really is a full restoration. The granite comes from Vermont. The little animals they're cougars, I believe. The spigots of water that come out the fountain, those are from Ohio. So this came from many time zones, and we stayed on budget. We allocated that money from the general fund, from the insurance payment. Then extra money was raised by the Portland Parks Foundation to do the design work. And so it truly was a team effort. And I'm really grateful to the workers on the ground. I met many of them this week down there, and they had so many stories to tell. And they were very proud of the fact that they stayed on budget.
Yeah, and it's back better than ever, really. It took a while. I mean, initially the hope was the elk would be back in place in late 2022 or early 23. That's right on the city website. You look at the history of its work. That obviously didn't happen. What were you hearing from people along the way, and why did it take so long to get to 2026 here?
Well, some of it was because we had the commitment to being fully restored, so that was a big part of it. And so I kept getting the news that the timeline was changing. I just think it's important when you're doing hard things to get it done, and there's always going to be headwinds. But the important thing is it's done. We're celebrating it this weekend, and it's important for Portland.
Talk about the restoration work of the Elk itself. I mean, it finishes with a wax coat. It just looks beautiful. That was intricate work.
It was. And it was really important also to get some new lighting for various reasons. One, so at night people can enjoy that. And I just have to say how important the Elk is. I think it is more than a symbol. Portland's been through a lot. We've all been through a lot. And there's something about the word restoration. It's different than the word revenge and rage. And we've been dealing with a lot of that. And people need to feel hope. And so what I saw this week when people were gathering to watch it be hoisted in is just random Portlanders pausing, smiling, and really feeling good about where they live. And that's the Portland that we want to live in. And Portland and all great cities have great public art, and we deserve nice things.
Yep, and it is an interesting, I don't know, dichotomy really a little bit. You know, Portland is a great city. It's a city that believes in free speech and the First Amendment and speaking out and protesting and demonstrating. Yet sometimes that has done some damage to some of our favorite things. How do you kind of put those two things together and see a city that is still growing now?
I think my hometown's always been a city where people are free to express themselves, and it's a quirky city, and it's a city that also really values tradition. And so it's not lost on me that I almost called it the forecourt fountain. That's how old I am. The Keller fountain is back on. The Elk is returning. And I think these iconic public art pieces allow Portlanders to feel grounded and that the downtown is really coming back. And so we must celebrate those moments. This is part of our comeback.
How important is that? Maybe it's an obvious question.
Well, I think I'm a lifelong Portlander. I went away to college and did some work in other cities and came back. And I'll never forget the time when I was coming back from back east when I was in school back east, and it was December, so there was a dusting of snow. And I just had kind of a tough conversation with a friend, and we were driving up, and I saw the Elk with the holiday wreath on, and it made me feel better suddenly, like instantly I felt better. So this is to all you Portlanders out there. You know what I'm talking about. And so this is a win for all of us that have that special connection. And it welcomes visitors to Portland. And it's right in the civic area where we do debate, where people come to City Hall and say sometimes not such charitable things at all of us for the reasons of free speech, where people go to pay a traffic ticket, where people go to do jury duty. It's in the civic district. So we have the Elk looking up to the hills, looking at its herd, as it always has been. There's some controversy. Is it the same way it always was? Like, yeah, it's actually, the neck is still going up, looking at the hills for its herd, and we can't do anything about PBOT changing directions of roads. So it's really for all of us to restore and remember, and how important that is as a society, as a culture. And I'm really grateful the elders of this town got through to me and got through to other people on city council to do the right thing.
Yeah. Was there ever a point you thought it might not happen, that it wasn't going to happen? How'd you push it through?
I don't really think that way, or I wouldn't have ran for office in September of 2020. So I'm kind of built to do hard things. You get knocked down, you get back up. So no, I was 100% clear that Portlanders want their Elk back. And that's why all Portlanders seem to be celebrating the return.
Yeah, and now it's sitting in a better situation too. I understand the work really on the base and pedestal and the water system is so improved.
It's seismically improved. The lighting's obviously there now. The graffiti, tarnish, whatever that is, that makes it so that's helpful. So it was updated to what the reality of today's concerns. And also PBOT did more of a bumper around it. Yeah. And I really got to give the people at Water credit. They really went to great lengths to keep this on budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now when you look at that Elk, what's the one phrase that comes to mind for you?
Resilience.
Yes.
One word, I think I just did.
I think that's a great,
hope.
a great word. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. All right, we're going to celebrate this weekend. Talk about that. People can come out.
Yeah, come on down. Bring your families. It's at 1 o'clock. Of course, there's got to be food. There'll be food carts. There'll be music. There'll be a DJ. And there will be some ritual. And there will be some speeches. And mostly it's about playing and taking time to connect with one another. Might be a little misty, but Portlanders know how to celebrate when there's a little bit of mist coming down.
We could totally handle that for sure. Well, we put up the graphic, and you said it's Sunday from 1 o'clock.
Sunday from 1 to 4.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So hopefully people come on out and celebrate with everybody.
Portland, we deserve to celebrate.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time on Straight Talk.